Texas, located in the heart of Central Texas, deep in Milam County, is known for its quaint hometown feel. From the friendly smiling faces and the abundant community parks to the beautifully restored courthouse, the history runs deep in the small Texas community. A drive across Texas with a stop in Cameron will certainly bring a Texas-sized smile to your face. And that's coming from a Texan.
Hey folks, welcome back to Drive Across Texas. I am Pat Waters. We're still in Cameron, Texas, the county seat of Milam County. We're sitting at this fabulous restaurant with the owner, Miss Susan Jolly, of the Dutchtown Deli and Cafe. Susan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I am awesome. Thank you so much for feeding us. I'm telling you, we ate that monster hog. No, that monster hog.
Monster hog.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
I had some of your tuna salad. It was great. Homemade potato soup. It was awesome. And I think Miss Wendy had a grilled chicken sandwich with mushrooms on it, and it's phenomenal, really good stuff.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, and I know our listeners are curious. Folks, I'm telling you, if you come through Milam County and you come through Cameron, Texas, you have to come here and get you something to eat. So why the restaurant?
Well, it turned out that I've always liked to cook, and my husband loves to cook. And several years back, my career was in the dental field, and I found out that I had a chemical issue with monosodium glutamate and other preservatives. And so my husband, he started cooking for me, and that's how we realized that I had this allergy. Mm-hmm. And so he started blending all of our spices, you know, taking it out of everything and doing everything as natural as we could. And then I quit working where I was working because I was having some issues, and I came to manage this place. And I managed it for about a year. It was for sale, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the building. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the atmosphere, the fellowship, and visiting. The community is wonderful. And the food, my husband loves to cook, and I love to cook, so we just put in our recipes. We took out any monosodium glutamate that was in our recipes and made it where I could eat it. And I enjoy fellowship and feeding people.
Well, you know, it's something that's very, very obvious when you walk through the doors here. You know, I walked in, and I knew exactly who you were, the owner, because I could see the love in your eyes of what you're doing. You know, you've built something really special for this community. And here, you know, Drive Across Texas, that's what we're about. We're going to do episodes in all 254 counties in this great state of Texas, and basically bring to people all these different, with the same common denominator communities in the state of Texas. You know, and if you boil it all down, you throw it in a melting pot, you know, it's about fellowship, it's about love, and it's about your current community. Mm-hmm. And you know, that just pours out of your souls here, and I want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
You know, we were eating lunch, and you were so kind to eat with it. You said something that really caught my intrigue and my interest. You said that you can feel that fellowship. There was some kind of particular failure. Explain to the viewers what you're talking about.
Well, in the mornings when it's fairly slow here, there's a low-key atmosphere, and then as the lunch rush comes on and the building fills up, there's a presence of fellowship. I don't know, it's like a little cloud that fills about half of the room, and you can just feel the fellowship and the love that's in the room. And then as they dwindle down and, you know, people leave, that atmosphere, that feeling kind of levels out.
You know, that kind of takes me to one of the segments we do. One of the segments we do on Drive Across Texas is Tall Texas Tales, and you know, it kind of intrigues me because what it makes me think of is that this building's old, obviously, and you're going to get into the details of the building. But there's been different proprietors, different businesses in here. So I'm thinking in my mind that those people are probably joining you for lunch. They get excited when the people come, and you know, it's something you can't really explain. It's something you have to come in and experience for yourself. So that leads me to my next question. You've got this beautiful restaurant, and it's a beautiful piece of architect. This building is amazing. So what is your favorite menu on your item? And what item on your menu?
My favorite would have to be our Munster hog sandwich.
Brian had one of those a while ago, and he said it was really good.
He did. We make that ourselves. We smoke our pork loin, and then we chill it, and we slice it very fine, and then we put it on the grill with a sauce that we make, a Carolina Gold sauce.
What's in that?
Well, I can't tell you anything that's in there.
Yeah.
Love,
Lots of love. I want to ask you something. This is kind of off the subject here. You know, I'm a 6th generation Texan, and I'm a huge Texas high school football fanatic. And we're in Cameron. Cameron Yo.
Cameron Yo.
Back-to-back state champions.
Yes, sir.
What is it like in your restaurant on a Friday afternoon before a home game?
Well, there's a lot of love in the town. We do a bread pudding that we make for the team to give out as one of the prizes people get that come to the game. And going to the games, it's amazing. You know, I'm not from Cameron, but I feel like I'm planted in Cameron now. I've been here 25 years, and going to a football game, you can just feel.
Can you feel the energy?
You can feel the energy and the excitement, and you can just.
On the smell of popcorn in the air, and
Yes.
the band's playing,
Yes,
smell of fresh cut
excitement
grass.
Yes, it's great.
Man, you make me want to just get up and
Great.
hit somebody. I'm loving it. So anyway, you know what? I know you're busy, and we're gonna have to let you go real soon. So I kind of want some information on your building here.
Well, the building was, the information that I have is from 1915, where J.P. Werner took the building, and he had a department store here. He had a tailor, he had women's clothing, men's clothing, made custom suits for the men in the town. A department store, and then it has also been a grocery and a pharmacy, and then it was Papa John's, not the pizza Papa John's, but John Rosick and his family took it over, and they had lots of beer and lots of chili and stew and fellowship.
That's great.
Lots of
Just a meeting home.
Domino's.
Yeah.
And it was that for 50 years, I think, and that's what it was before I bought it.
You know, we were looking at it, you know, back in the olden days, you know, the 30s and the 20s, you know, you see all these historical pictures, and all these are just like shotgun buildings. But this is kind of deceiving, because now there's a wall here. When the original owner of the building that had the clothing store, this is actually 5,000 square foot in this building. You're going to open up.
It is, and we're working on it right now.
If it ever quits raining.
If it ever quits raining, we'll get that
That's
finished.
great. Will you do us a favor and show us the rest of the building and kind of tell us what you know
I
about
will.
historical
I
wise?
will.
Susan, you mentioned a while ago that you know that your husband does a lot of cooking, and so it's kind of a team deal, you know. But what is his specialty?
Well, his specialty, I call him my chemist in the kitchen, because he mixes all of our spices, but he made our chili recipe. He worked on it for 20 years, and we grind our meat, chop our veggies, blend our spices, and cook it all from scratch.
You know, it's unique, I mean, actually to the location here also, because you'd mentioned that for 50 years, this place was called
Papa John's.
Papa John's, and they served chili and stew and all that stuff.
The Rosick family, they were very popular and known for their chili and beer and Domino's in this building. They started across the street, and then they moved over here, and were here for 50 years, I think.
So you ever had anybody walk in and mention, like, if they were a kid
yeah.
or something, come in that they ate with the when the Rosicks had it?
Oh yeah, I've had
Give me
lots
a
of
story.
people.
Give
I've
me a
had
story
lots
about
of people come in, and I love it, because I hear them tell him they come in. I had a fella come in and sit over here, and he sat down with his son. His son might have been 10 or so, and he said, he was telling him, I came in here and I sat with my grandfather right there and had knee-highs and chili.
See, that's what's so wonderful about these small communities, these small Texas towns. You get that generational history, you know, and it's awesome as a parent to be able to bring one of your kids into the history, you know, and some of your past life. So that's one of the things I love about small town Texas.
That's what I love about this too.
That's great. Well, you know, I'm excited to see the building. Take time out of your day to show it to us?
Sure, I'd love to show you. It's under construction. It's a little rough, but I'll sure show
So
you.
you're basically on the construction.
you're going to open up the entire 5,000 square foot, right?
We are. We're going to add additional seating on this side of the building, and we're going to add a little bar area in the back, and we're going to expand our kitchen into the back as well, so we'll have more room. And then eventually we're going to build a patio out on the back side of the building so we can sit in the evenings when the nice cool breeze is coming through in the summertime.
Feels like coming home, and that's exactly what you feel. When your next drive across Texas, you pull into Cameron, Texas, and you want to feel like coming home, just make a trip into the Dutchtown Deli and Cafe and see Susan here. Y'all remember now?
Yeah.
Say it again. Hey, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Now, you're original from Texas, right?
I'm from Texas.
How many years your family, how many generations do you know? Several?
Maybe several.
Oh, here we go. You got to learn around here. Folks, that's coming from a couple of Texans. Adios.
Adios.
Quality service, catering, and takeout, homemade food. Dutchtown Deli in Cameron, Texas is the family restaurant everyone will enjoy. Customers expect nothing but the best, and we aim to deliver, serving down-home comfort food, delectable pies, and coffee as fresh as can be. Stop in at 412 West Battle Street, Cameron, Texas.
You're watching Strike TV Video Country. Call your local cable and satellite TV provider and ask about Strike TV.
Why are Wiseman House handmade chocolates so good? The answer is simple. Real chocolate from origins such as Belgium and Venezuela. Fresh ingredients like whipping cream and chopped fruits. Natural flavors like crushed coffee beans, all combined with unique liqueurs and spices. We leave out added sugars, gluten, sodium nitrates, and trans fat. The result is a full, rich flavor profile, smoother texture, and an indescribable taste. Welcome to Wiseman House Handmade Chocolates.
Granbury, Texas, founded in 1887, is the seat of Hood County. The bustling historic town started as a square and a log cabin courthouse. Many buildings around the square are historic landmarks boasting of the rich history in this area. The city was named after the Confederate General Hiram B. Granbury. When the Brazos River was dammed in 1969, forming Lake Granbury, city expansion began. The long, narrow lake which flows through the city brings visitors far and near to see this beautiful piece of Texas. Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Drive Across Texas. I'm your host, Pat Waters. Today I'm in Granbury, Texas, a beautiful and bustling town in North Texas. And I tell you, Granbury's got some tall Texas tales. I'm going to read a couple to you out of the Texas Tales book about Jesse James and John Wilkes Booth. Like many things in Texas, Granbury has a rich and somewhat twisted history. It's a town of some pretty notorious outlaws. John Wilkes Booth, outlaw Jesse James, and even Billy the Kid just down the road. It's said they came to live and die here because he really didn't die the first time. One such tale belongs to that of the famous outlaw Jesse James, known for his rowdy ways as part of the James Young gang. His crimes included bank robbery, train robbing, and some things this Texan can't even mention. Raised in the Little Dix area of western Missouri, it's said that James was shot in cold blood on April 3rd, 1882. But Granbury is tell of a different tale. Rumors about his survival came out almost immediately before the story of his death. Some say that another man was killed in James' place just so he could live out a peaceful life, which landed him in Granbury, Texas. James is said to have lived out his days as J. Frank Dalton, peacefully dying just a few weeks shy of his 104th birthday. There's even a marker in the Granbury Cemetery, but guess what? There's also one in Kearney, Missouri. There's been DNA tests, research, family feuds, you name it. The history books have recorded it. Who knows where the truth lies? So that brings me to John Wilkes Booth, famous assassin of President Abraham Lincoln. It's said that he renamed himself John St. Helen and actually held a job as a bartender in a saloon here in Granbury. In 1877, he confessed to the murder, but he escaped the feds and with help made his way to Texas. So here he lies in Granbury, Texas. Well, no, actually he was mummified after his death in 1903 and was actually displayed as part of a circus traveling show until 1970s. Can you imagine that? But then the mummy vanished, probably on a display in somebody's personal private museum. When you drive through Granbury, you can stop at the building where Booth tended bar. Check out the Nutshell, a local bakery on the square. On the walls are painted murals of Booth and his bar, and you'll see Jesse James as well, but you will not see their names. These are just a couple of tall Texas tales you will find here in Granbury, Texas. It's funny because some places you just can't explain. Remember, folks, that baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.
Taking a whole horse approach to equine healthcare. Located in Crescent, Texas, Cold River Equine is dedicated to equine athletes recovering from surgery, injury, and illness. They also work with horses in need of mental and physical rehabilitation. Cold River works with veterinarians and trainers to help develop a program that is best for the horse's needs. Offering one of the safest and most effective means in exercise and reconditioning in the equine world, Cold River Equine helps horses to heal and rehabilitate in their own aquatrip. Check out coldriverequine.com and book your appointment today.
An Old Memory, the critically acclaimed new tribute album from Dylan Scott, features 7 traditional country songs honoring one of his musical heroes, Keith Whitley.
When you say nothing at all.
The project includes Don't Close Your Eyes,
Don't close your eyes, let it be me.
Between an Old Memory and Me,
An old memory
and more. An Old Memory, the new album from Dylan Scott, available now on Amazon Music.
When you say nothing at all.
Benedict Metal Artistry is proud to offer custom metal artwork from wildlife, pets, anything equine, Texas art, Native American art, and cowboy and western art. Choose from our online store for available pieces or contact Esther to design your custom piece.
Deep in the heart of Texas, 2 sisters want to bring a little sweetness in your life. Stop in to Country Sweets Bakery for delicious pies, cakes, and treats galore. Looking for a special cake? We make what you want, how you want it. Pies and cheesecakes of any kind. You can think of it, we can make it. Fresh made cookies from scratch will please any crowd. Stop in today and pick your treat. We can't wait to make your life a little sweeter. Check us out at bandurabakery.com.
Hey folks, welcome to Drive Across Texas Geocache. It's an epic, epic moment. Humongous. Any other extraordinary words I can use, Wendy?
I don't think
Amazing.
So. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Phenomenal. We use that
Phenomenal. This is our 100th geocache.
Our 100th.
And she finally found one. We got it on video. Tell them about it.
This is a cool one if y'all are ever in the Waco area.
Because you found it, right? That's why it's cool?
No, because it's called the Gambler. And in the cemetery, there's a red brick mausoleum, and the story is, you know how we like tall Texas tales, that the guy was a gambler, and he asked his family to bury him in the mausoleum, sitting at a card table with was it a full house? Was it a full house that I said?
Ace is flush.
With a pile of chips,
Roll flush.
a bottle of whiskey, and a cigar, and that's how he was buried. So. One of those tall Texas tales.
And they later moved him, right?
They did. It says that later he was moved and like has a normal, you know, grave site or whatever.
Pushing up daisies now?
Yeah, something like that. But it's kind of cool. But there's a little cache here too. So.
Yeah, y'all check it out, man. Find it. It's cool. And y'all follow us on our next geocache adventure on Drive Across Texas. This is Wendy Johnson. I'm Pat Waters. Y'all remember, that's coming from a Texan. Adios.
Welcome to Fairfield Marriott Decatur Conference Center, located at 1910 West US Highway 380 in Decatur, Texas. A lot of people don't realize this, but Highway 380 is actually a destination highway to multiple historic downtown Main Street cities, Decatur, Texas being one of them. Fairfield Marriott is a brand new hotel with 107 spacious rooms and suites. They offer a state-of-the-art fitness center, business center, pool, meeting space, free high-speed internet, and a free extensive breakfast buffet. As you can see, they're adjacent to the Decatur Conference Center. This 27,000 square foot full-service meeting facility is flexible enough to accommodate large events such as conventions and multi-day trade shows, as well as small corporate or specialized gatherings. Let them focus on the details while you focus on the results. Right en route, the North Texas Wine Trail, and just minutes from historical Decatur Town Square, you won't be disappointed with your stay at Fairfield Marriott Decatur Conference Center. So come eat, come play, come shop, come stay, Decatur.
Reach your personal best at Fossil Pointe Sporting Ground. We offer sporting clays, rifle and pistol shooting, long-range rifle shooting, private lessons, corporate and private events. Fossil Pointe Sporting Ground is open to the public and your gateway to fun.
Now I feel so thankfully that you have been so good to me.
Make the Hen's Nest your choice for unbelievable meal selections. The Hen's Nest makes their delicious meals from only the freshest ingredients. From pan-seared oysters with lemon butter sauce to biscuits and gravy, the Hen's Nest menu offers a wide variety of tasty dishes. Visit us at the Hen's Nest, Bandera, Texas. Marker Cellars, a family winery which is home to a rich heritage of protecting Texas' natural resources and producing Texas wines. Visit Marker Cellars for great Texas wine and beautiful views.
Alvord, Texas, population 1,334, is located in northern Wise County. This tiny town was originally named Neenah, but that name was changed to honor the president of the Fort Worth and Denver Railroad in 1882. On your next drive across Texas, be sure to make a stop in Alvord, where the people are friendly and the landscape is purely Texan. Y'all remember, that baby's coming from a Texan.
Hey folks, welcome to Drive Across Texas. I'm your host, Pat Waters, and today we're in Alvord, Texas at Marker Cellars Winery. I've got the owner here, Mr. Mark Rogers. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for allowing us to come in here and invade your space and tell us about this exceptional business that you have.
Well, this is Marker Cellars Winery here in the middle of the LBJ grasslands in Alvord, Texas. And this property is surrounded by national forest on 3 sides, bordered half mile by quarter mile. And we have been here since 2007, enjoying this landscape and our coexistence with both the Forest Service and all the animals and critters that live out here. So it's been a really enjoyable experience.
I'm telling you, you got a beautiful place here, and like folks, you got to see this. If you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and come out to the country and get you a good glass of wine, maybe get you a hand-rolled cigar and sit out here and look at this beauty that the good Lord has put out here in Alvord, Texas, you need to come out here to Marker Cellars Winery. So I know the viewers are, I'm curious, I know the viewers are also curious, Mark. What got you involved in wanting to make wine?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, I think. So I grew up in Midland, Texas. My dad was a geologist, and we traveled pretty much throughout the state. But I grew up as a flatlander. Then in 1985, a company approached me and asked me to help them rebuild their company and move to Los Angeles, California. So didn't make my in-laws real happy, but we packed up the family and moved to LA. Had a 2-year-old daughter at the time, so that part was a little traumatic, but LA was just a unique environment to me. I mean, it opened my eyes to so many things. And so every weekend, we would do something different. Go to a national park, go to a state park, go beach camping, or go visit the small mom and pop wineries that were back then the only ones that existed above Santa Barbara and the Santa Ynez Valley. Where we were living at the time, it was a short hour-and-a-half drive, so it wasn't that big a deal. But in the process of doing that, I got to know a gentleman by the name of Fess Parker. Fess Parker, as you may recall, was Daniel Boone on ABC television way back in the day, and he and his grandson operated Fess Parker Winery there in the Santa Ynez Valley. There wasn't one question that I ever asked that they didn't delve into, give me detail. There wasn't never a stupid question, and we just kind of gelled from that standpoint. So that got me started. That gave me a bug. I didn't know anything about a wine at that point, and it really expanded my experience and palate. And flash forward to about 1995, and we moved back to Texas. Moved a bunch of folks from the company that I helped rebuild at that time. And when we bought our property in a little town called Argyle, south of Denton, my wife got 5 acres and I got a 1/4 acre. She had horses. And so we planted 125 vines in a test vineyard, mainly just to see if I could grow grapes. And 7 different varieties, and we started playing with it over time to make a blend, a small batch blend. And we refined that to where it grew to where I bought a ton of grapes and processed them myself, and that really set the stage for what I did in 2005. I went to Enology and Viticulture School up in Denison at Grayson County College. That totally blew my mind because it exposed me to things about history in Texas and the history of Texas wine that I had no knowledge of whatsoever. It was just really, really interesting. We bought this place in 2007 and then built it out a little bit at a time while I was still working full time. And then in 2012, we opened our tasting room, opened the winery to the public. It was on weekends only back then. And then 4 years ago, I retired from my corporate life, and now we're open 4 days a week, Thursday through Sunday, and now I only work 7 days a week, so it's great.
Hey, that's great, man. You got a break, retirement, you get to work 7 days a week.
That's right.
That's awesome. Well, I can tell just by looking at your facility and looking at the surroundings and coming in and looking at your business that it's definitely a labor of love for you.
Thank you.
You know, and I'm one of those believers. Find something you're passionate about, you actually really never work a day in your life.
No, that's right.
I'm telling you, I appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you. I thank you so much for your hospitality.
No, absolutely. Pleasure's ours.
Folks, like I said at the start of the interview, if you want to get out of the city, get away from the hustle and bustle, and get out in the country and relax with a great glass of wine, maybe a hand-rolled cigar, you need to come out and see Mark and his lovely wife at Marker's Cellars Winery here in Alvord, Texas. Y'all remember now, tell them that Drive Across Texas sent you, and this baby's coming from a Texan. Adios.